So we're reading, I think, 9.19. So let's read the purport. 9.19, right? I think 9.20. Yeah, I think 21 also we completed. 23 we have to read. anta-vat phalam tesham bhavaty alpa-medhasam deva-yajo yanti mad-bhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Some commentators on the Bhagavad Gita say that one who worships the demigod can reach the supreme Lord. But here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to different planetary systems where the various demigods are situated. Just as a worshipper of the sun achieves the sun, or a worshipper of the demigod of the moon achieves the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like Indra, he can attain that particular god's planet. Very important point, right? So it is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the supreme personality of God. That is denied here, for it is clearly stated. The worshippers of demigods go to different planets in the material world, but the devotee of the Supreme Lord goes directly to the supreme planet of the personality of Godhead. Here, a point may be raised. That is, the demigods are different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, and the same end should be achieved by worshipping them. Our worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they do not know to what part of the body food must be supplied. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that there are many parts and many ways to supply food. This is very sanguine. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or the eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord, and their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and a competitor to the Supreme Lord. Not only are the demigods parts of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, Kshatriyas are his arms, Vaishyas are his waist, Shudras are his legs, and all serve different functions. Regardless of the situation, if one knows that both the demigods and himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same destination the devotee reaches. Results achieved by the demigods' benedictions are perishable because within this material world, the planets, the demigods, and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all the results achieved by the worshipping demigods are perishable, and therefore such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entity. Because the pure devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotion with the Supreme Lord achieves eternal blissful life that is full of knowledge. His achievements and those of the common worshipper of the demigods are different. Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is also unlimited. Very nice point. So, yatha bhavam upasate tathaiva phalam ashnute. I don't know if he chanted the prayers. उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य न्यूनाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय पितृ श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि शून्यवादी पाष्टातिदेशधारण्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद हृदय गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum nangete grimit kripadam hamante Shri Gurum Dina Taranam Paramanandam Harinam Shri Chaitanya. So, anta-vat phalam tesham tad bhavaty alpa-medhasam. So, first of all, we must understand in the Vedic fold, why should Devata Upasana be established by the Vedas? Let us look at, first of all, it from the point of the worshipper. Okay, so the worshipper, being endowed with some guna, will naturally be attracted to a certain type of worship and a certain form of worship. Okay, not everyone will like that same type of worship. Upasanartham is, so we like to think we are doing many things actually. So a reader of Bhagavad Gita will not think like that. A student of Bhagavad Gita will understand how we are all being controlled by many things. Okay, so a person who is basically worshipping the devatas, he's helplessly worshipping that devata in a sense because he's attracted naturally by the gunas. So naturally everyone is, Krishna is mentioning this right in the Bhagavad Gita. Svabhavastu pravartate. Everyone is having a svabhava. And each svabhavam is pulling them to that devata from the point of the worshipper. Someone likes to worship Indra, someone likes to worship, Kartikeya. Everyone naturally they are attracted to a devata. And devatas are also predominantly in Sattva Guna only. But there could be small. Okay. So predominantly they are endowed with Sattva Guna. Like we see this in the story between Brahmaji and Indra and Virochana. Like I mentioned this many times, this comes in one of the Upanishads. So if Brahmaji asks, Indraji asks actually, who am I? Virochana also had the same question. Virochana is Asura. Virochana is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. So, my bad, my son of Prahlad Maharaj. So Virochana and Indra go to Brahmaji and ask, who am I? And Brahmaji said, Annam Brahma. Whatever you are seeing outside, this is the absolute truth. There is nothing outside of that. But Indra, being endowed with Sattva Guna, doesn't accept that instruction. He further questions, it cannot be so. Tell me, who am I? Then he says, no, Annam Brahmeti Vejanat. No, that is not the case. Know the Annam to be Brahma. Annam Brahmeti Vejanat. No, that is not the truth. Pranam Brahmeti Vejanat. Right. So in this way, he goes one step over, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanam Brahmeti Vejanat, and then Anandam Brahmeti Vejanat. So in this way, Indra does not settle for something. So to settle for some answer because someone says so is not a symptom of Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna means there is inquiry, Vijnanam, Jignasa. It cannot be so, this cannot be so. This is inquiring. And Virochana accepts, okay, good, whatever he says, that's okay. This is kind of tamas. Right? Whatever you say, I'll agree. So that is good after we have introspected. One cannot have proper surrender without proper introspection based on one's intelligence. Anyway, coming to the point. So the devas are predominantly in Sattva Guna. That is why Krishna says, Sattvikan, what is it? Devans, Sattvikan Yajot, what is it? Does someone know? Sattviko Devan. Krishna mentions in the 18th chapter, Sattvika Devan. Trying to get the shloka. So Krishna says people in the mode of goodness worship the devatas, right? So that is there, definitely. And but from the point of the devatas also, they are in charge of the different material fruits. Okay. So there is a big list in Srimad Bhagavatam. Is there anyone here who has not read that big list? Comes in the first canto of Bhagavatam. Or second canto? Second canto or first canto? I think second canto. Second canto. Does someone remember what that big list is? Has someone read this? Is someone here not read this big list? Yes, no comments. I don't know. I don't want to say, I'm too shy. Whatever answer is fine. Is there anyone here who's not aware of this shloka? Long list. What devata to worship for what? If I get no answer, that means I will take that everyone knows and I will not tell the shloka. Okay, I take that all of you know the shloka. So, comes in the second canto. The big list is given. Comes exactly before Akama Sarva Kama Vova. So, Rajya Kamo Manun Devan Nrittim Tu Abhicharan Yajet Kama Kamo Yajet Sobam Akama Purusha Param. So, you worship different devata for different fruits. So the Devata is capable because of his mode. If you go to a Sanskritam teacher, he can teach Sanskritam. If you go to a physics teacher, he can teach you physics. Because his intelligence is fixed in physics, he can teach you physics. Similarly, every Devata has got a certain type of body, and whatever he has, he can bestow it. And Devatas can change your life actually, because our body itself, our mind itself is merely a expansion of the Devata's body. We think we are separate from Indra, but we are a expansion of Indra's body, whether we agree or not. Our body is an expansion of Indra's body, and Indra's body is an expansion of Brahma's body. We are all subsets. You would have read these, these Venn charts, in mathematics, right? Venn diagrams. So like that, right? Overlap is there. So I am a subset of Indra's body. Indra is a subset of Brahma's body. So in this way, it's an kshetra. Brahma's Dharmabhuta Jnanam goes all the way to this whole Brahmandam. And then Indra's falls in that vicinity. And we are also following there. Just like amoeba in my stomach, amoeba is in my body. Amoeba is my subset. Right? Whatever I call my body is amoeba is a subset of my body. So many bacteria is a subset of my body. So many worms are subset of my body. So if there is a class of that amoeba within my stomach or whatever it is, right? Hopefully I don't have amoeba, but I'm saying if there is something in whatever gut bacteria I have, say it's having a Bhagavad Gita class and it's telling Kshetra Jnanam, right? It will tell, what, there is another person who's speaking the Bhagavad Gita right now at 9 p.m. and there is another time zone. There is something called another time zone because everyone's time is not the same and everyone's past present is also not the same. Devas past and present are different. Cockroach past and present are different. Because life is different, right? Everyone lives for 100 years. Cockroach also lives for 100 years. Germs also lives for 100 years. But their time relativity is different and our time relativity is different. Time dilation exists. So whatever I feel as past present is different from your past present also. Don't think our past and present is also the same. Right? Some people live longer. Say two people live for 40 years. Do they live the same number of years? No, they don't. Person who's more in sattva guna, who's conscious of his time, he's above because he's not attached to matter. Because he's not attached to matter, he's not so much controlled by time. So sattva guna is less controlled by time. Rajoguna, tamoguna more controlled by time. So time goes faster. So if you are in sattva guna, your time goes slower. You'll have a lot of things to do in your life. In the same day, you can accomplish so many things in sattva guna. So that person in sattva guna lives longer, though he also lives for 40 years only. Like we see Adi Shankaracharya, he hardly lived for approximately 30 years, approximately. But he did so much, in those 30 years. Mahaprabhu lived for 48 years, So he did so much in these 48 years. So in this way, what defines life? What defines life? It is not in the measured in the number of years. There are so many trees who live longer. But anyway, coming to the point of the Devatas. So the Devatas also, so if the Devatas can give you anything you want actually, because they are endowed with that ability. So if I want, a certain vidya to learn, then the Devata can change your prakriti. So people find it very difficult to do in a very adi-bhautik way. We are trying to make progress. These motivational techniques, this, that, change your way of thinking. These are all adi-bhautik ways. Adi-bhautik ways are very difficult ways. One way is faster, but it requires more faith. Adi-devik requires faith in the Vedas, the Devas and the Vedas. It requires faith in both, but it is very fast. Okay, if you worship a certain Devata for a certain fruit, definitely you will get it. Definitely you will get it. It is true. Okay, but it requires faith. Whatever you will want to do, I want to control my mind, I want to do this, I want to do that. What will take you so much prayatnam by my own endeavor will become very easy, very ayas, without any ayas, I'm sorry. Without any ayas, without any prayas, it will be very easily fulfilled by worshipping that Devata. Because the Devata is the owner of that Bhautika element. You are trying to control the bhautika element from with your effort. How much effort would I have to control my bhutas, my bhutendriyas, my sukshmendriyas? I cannot control, because to achieve any fruit in this world, you have to control your senses. Is it not? You have to control your senses. And without controlling your senses, you cannot achieve that fruit. Now, how much control would I have over my senses? And how much control the devatas have over my senses? Just compare. So, any objective you want to do in this world, if you worship a devata, it will achieve faster than you yourself trying. Now, it might appear super counterintuitive. Okay? But this is what is true. If you have a very firm knowledge, but you must get proper information from the proper person. If you try to concoct, most people, what they try to do is that they try to concoct their own way of worship. That is why they don't get that fruit. But if you get authorized information from an authorized person for getting a certain fruit, what devata to worship and how to worship, you'll get that fruit 100%. Whatever you want, you'll get it. This is why Veda is called Kalpataru. But to get that person is very difficult, actually. Who will tell you exactly what to do. And Adhyatmika requires even more faith. But it is even faster than Adi Devika worship. And not even just faster, it can expand to greater heights. It can expand to bigger things. It cuts across even the barriers that Adi Devika worship has. So Krishna is comparing Adi Devika Upasana and Adhyatmika Upasana. Adhyatmika Upasana is Vishnu Upasana, Hari Upasana, right? And Adi Bhautik Upasana, Adi Devik Upasana is higher than Adi Bhautik Prayatna. So, of course, as I always say, Bhagavad Gita is PhD level science. It is even condemning Adi Devik Upasana and is telling it is alpa-medhasam. People who have only low intelligence will worship Adi Devik Upasana. But actually, in Kali Yuga, to even do Adi Devik Upasana is very difficult, actually. Because to do proper Adi Devik Upasana, we must have Shraddha in the Vedas. Then only you can understand which devata to worship, and the devata has to give you prasadam. That is also there. Then only you will meet a person who will tell you how to worship that devata. And the devata will become suprita, suprasana, and he'll give you whatever phalam you want. And it is very fast. And Krishna says, even that upasana that is mentioned in the Vedas, to worship that devata, that itself is alpa-medhasam. Right? Because it is alpa-medhasa because there are two reasons. First reason is that you want something material. And Krishna already did nindanam of that in the second chapter, right? Yogeshwari prasaktanam. Ehi samsparshacha bhoga dukha yona evate. Yajna karma vanyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha pradartham karma kunte. In this way, he has already done nindanam of anything safalam. So, because it is again within this world, it is not very appreciated. It is not very appreciable. Look, Bhagavad Gita is very topmost Upanishadic science. Sarva Upanishadaka avaha. Dogdha gopalanandanaha bharto vatsutir bhokta dugdham. Gita amritam mahat. So we must understand this loftiness of Bhagavad Gita, first of all. And the second thing is that it is alpa-medhas, because people think that these devatas are independent. Like Prabhupada says in a very nice lecture. He says, nicely in a lecture, he says, can I put my food into any hole? It's not possible to put my food into any hole. Right? Prabhupada gives this purport also. I cannot put food into my eyes. I cannot put into my food into my nose. It's not possible. So these devatas are nothing but parts and parcels of the Virat Purusha. There is only one Purusha, and these devas are parts and parcels of the same body of the Virat Purusha. Virat Purusha. So if you worship that devata as a part and parcel of the Virat Purusha, then gradually you will come to realize Vishnu. Okay? This is the intent of the Vedas. You first reach the body, you first reach the hand, just like you first control the breathing, and then by controlling the breathing, you can control your mind. You control your mind and you see Vishnu. So mostly people cannot be introduced to Vishnu so easily unless they have Paramarthika Shraddha. So to take to Hare Krishna mantra exclusively is very difficult actually. So people will go through different ways of going from the external to internal. From an Ashtanga Yoga perspective, going from external to internal, I just told you. going from asanas, pranayama, you're going externally, internally, from the Ashtanga Yoga perspective. From Upasana perspective, you first worship the devatas and you do Upasana of the primordial Adhyatma element who is Vishnu. Okay, this is from Upasana standpoint. Even from a devotional standpoint, we worship Krishna, we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, but we have to do so karma mishra bhakti, so we gradually go from external to internal. So external to internal journey will always be there in this world. Whatever thing we do, even in marriage, we have external to internal. First, the relationship is gross, then it becomes subtle. External to internal transformation or journey is called maturity. So it has to happen, and there is also maturity for a Vedic reader also. And Bhagavad Gita is trying to mature the Devata Upasana reader, and is trying to mature him to a Adhyatmika Upasana, which is Vishnu Upasana. Anyway, the point is, this maturity is accelerated by the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra and Bhagavata mark. The Bhagavata mark accelerates the transition from the gross to subtle. That is the only difference. Because Hare Krishna mantra, anyone who can do it. It appears like a gross act. But very fast, very soon, it takes us to the subtlemost platform of the consciousness, and it helps us clean that consciousness. You see, so every journey in this world is to go from external to internal. It could be corporate journey, whatever journey you take, relationship, whatever it is to go from external to internal. If you want to accelerate it, read Bhagavad Gita, chant Hare Krishna mantra, it will be accelerated. Or else life experiences will also, if you don't take this Bhagavata mark, then life experiences will also steer us in the same way, same direction, going from outer to inner. So I will stop here. Any questions or comments, Aravind? Okay, thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.